Hello my gorgeous people, my name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and these are your weekly horoscope tarot card readings, and they are from the 19th until the 25th of July 2021. So this weekly horoscope tarot card forecast is of course for the all 12 signs of zodiac, and it's in between the 19th and the 25th of July 2021. And as usual, I'm going to start with my gorgeous and with my ever so precious Aries. My gorgeous Aries, you know, you are going to have such an important moment in time, in particular when it comes to you realizing something, you know, you realizing something so important in your life that you should be paying attention to. And it has been around you all along. It has been there for such a long time. It has been part of your life for quite a long time indeed. But now in itself, just out of the blue, you are going to realize the actual importance of it. It is time to pay attention to it, because this is also going to reveal very sacred direction when it comes to you and when it comes to your specific spiritual journey. On one hand, you know, you're gonna feel like, oh my god, you know, like your eyes are going to be like pretty much so rather wide open. And this is important because that in itself is just going to play a quite significant role when it comes to you getting enough kind of power, getting enough confidence, getting enough self-esteem in order to kind of see things for what they are. And you noticed, yes, I said that you're going to need the confidence and self-esteem, and this is purely kind of to you're gonna believe, you're gonna kind of realize something that it may not be like a completely normal, or it may not seem like something like, oh my god, like a part of the everyday life and things like that. It is just going to have such a kind of heavy element of like a really bizarre mystery to it. So this is why I mentioned, you know, that you're gonna need like a little bit of confidence and self-esteem, because that in itself is pretty much needed from you, because you're gonna realize, you know, that these times that you're going to find yourself in at the moment are very testing in many different ways, you know, when it comes to like our way of thinking, when it comes to our way of lives, you know, when it comes to things that we do on daily basis. So most certainly this has got an impact on so many different parts and levels and areas of our lives anyway. So that in itself is just all going to kind of be part of this really big picture, what you are going to have, my gorgeous Aries. So this is very important that I am actually right now going to say that you know, this element, this part of yourself that I started this actual reading with, when I mentioned that, you know, it's just something that was always around you, something that was always like a big part of you. So I'm going back to that, because this is going to play a really big role when it comes to this week, because that in itself, it is just going to really be part of, as I said, of your sacred journey. It is just going to help you so much to see things for what they are, but most importantly, it's going to help you to come out of yourself, because this week it's going to be primarily responsible for you by the end of the week just literally coming out of yourself, you know, coming out of those things that have been holding you down, coming out of those things that have been kind of preventing you to move on, coming out of those things, and on top of those things you are actually going to be. This is where this is all going to come from, you being on top of everything and seeing things for what they are. And that in itself is just going to light this very, very important fire within yourself, which is just most certainly going to lead you towards the actual decision that you are going to make. And that decision is really important, because it's to do with your future, it's to do with your finances, it's to do with your life, it's to do with your happiness, but also it's to do with the fact when it comes to the actual timing, because you're going to kind of wonder yourself this week, and you're going to wonder like, how long is something actually going to take? And this, what you're going to wonder, it's pretty much so to do with that path that is going to start unfolding for you. And something, you know, that you're going to start this particular idea, it's going to take an additional 5 months. Okay, so now we are in July 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we are talking about the actual December, or more to say like it around the mid-December, when this is actually going to come through, and you will see what an importance this is actually going to have. And also I want to say one more thing, that somebody in your life is just going to need a little bit of your help. somebody who is very important to you. So if you have got a family, because I understand, you may not you may not have a family, but if you have a family, then it is going to be somebody who's like in your life, like a family member who is going to need a little bit of your help, because they have been kind of misled a little bit, and you're the one who has got this magic touch. Indeed, you're the one who will have the sacred wiseness when it comes to helping that person so much, okay? And if you haven't got a family, then this could be, and this will be, somebody who's very close to you, somebody who you really like your friend, like your, like some really good friend of yours. Somebody will need your help. It is not going to be obvious, but it is just something that you're going to come across around that person, around that person that you're going to come across, and then you're going to kind of like realize something is just not going to be kind of right. And this is when you're literally going to need to step through, okay? You're going to need to step forward indeed. And on another hand, you also pretty much so throughout this week, you need to pay attention to the actual, what is the very first thing on your mind in the morning, because there is a very important inspiration that you are going to have, and it's going to surprise you what is going to be on your mind, but it's just something that you must not overlook, something that you're going to need to take on the next level. And you most certainly will know what this is actually going to be, because almost immediately it is going to raise your vibration, and it is going to make you feel so much better, okay? So now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Taurus, my gorgeous Taurini. I love you so much. You are like, you're going to be facing like a really bizarre, like a little bit of strange situation, like a quite strange situation. But then again, because you are going to get hold of the certain information, and in the information that you're going to get hold of, it's kind of not going to completely surprise you, but there is going to be like a very heavy and very deep and very powerful element of surprise that you're actually going to have. So this is something that is just going to take you back a little bit, because it is just what you kind of expected, but it's going to be a little bit heavier. It may be just like a little bit negative, and it is just going to a little bit throw you out of the balance. But it doesn't really matter, because this is actually really good, because this balance that you're going to be thrown out of, this balance that you're going to find yourself in, it's actually remarkable, because it's a little bit of like consistency of this balance. It's a little bit of like a high vibration, strange vibration, low vibration, a bit of like a hermit mode, a bit of like a mystery, like a energy. It's just all these elements are going to be like a contributing factors when it comes to this, because it's going to help you to broaden your horizons by actually being very positive for you in such a way where you're going to realize that you just need to give a credit to yourself. Even those most bizarre things that you've mentioned and said, or even those most weirdest things that you mentioned or said over the last like maybe 24 to 36 months, this is going to be evident that it's actually going to come through. And this is why I need you to understand that you just simply need to give a credit to yourself, because now it's the time, because it's going to affect and it's going to impact on your personal growth. And you're going to kind of like realize also this week how many things you're actually going to be able to achieve. This is brilliant. On one hand, you're going to achieve quite a lot, and it's going to surprise you, because it is just going to bring the certain motivation. But most importantly, there is a very, very kind of important element that you're going to need to pay attention to. So whether you're planning like to kind of like be really, really active this week, whether you're planning to do things, it doesn't really matter. This vibrant energy is just kind of going to be pretty much so responsible for you, like kind of moving on and doing certain things in your life. But this particular energy is just so remarkable, because it's so important, and it's happening at around the same time when not only you're going to have the biggest confirmation of your life, but also at the same time it's happening when your intuition is going to be like, oh my Lord, you're going to find yourself being really wise this week. So your intuition, the combination of having such a strong intuition, you are also kind of going to find a very kind of powerful balance in between, like you thinking about things, and then suddenly this balance just pushes you towards like doing something, towards a certain kind of a situation orientation towards a certain path where normally you would be like, no baby, no, like maybe, you know, you're not too sure. And sometimes, you know, this is so many different elements can actually have an impact on us when we kind of take a credit for ourselves. We don't give enough credit to ourselves, okay? And then that affects our courage, it affects our self-esteem, it affects our way of thinking. So this is why I said that this is so important, because this balance is just going to kind of keep on pointing you to something, towards something very specific, towards something very particular. And you need to understand that communication, it's important. You expressing yourself, it's important. You being out and about is important as ever, especially when it comes to this week. And no matter how you feel, whether you're completely down or if you're completely tired, it doesn't really matter, because this vibration that I'm talking about, it's actually going to take over. So what you need to do most likely, most certainly this week, is just express yourself by doing things that you want to do, that you like to do, that you enjoy yourself kind of doing, because that in itself is going to be keep on increasing your energy, and it's going to be shifting your vibration, and that in return is basically going to reward you with something very, very special, because the last 2 days of this week, something really incredible is actually going to take place. Something incredible is actually going to happen. The whole new door are going to open to you, and these are not a brand new door, but it's just something that's going to happen when it comes to time, when it comes to like having a really important shortcut, and the realization that you are kind of you know, you are just like a kind of like a more than halfway there where you want to be, where you want to get what you want to achieve. But most certainly it's also important to kind of be a little bit quiet about something, because you are going to get hold of like the certain information that it's going to be truth. It's going to be really, this is nothing to do with what I said so far, but there is a certain information that you're going to kind of get hold of, you know, you're going to become aware of, but it is not the right time for you to come out with that information as of yet, just yet, you know. Later on, or you know, in like about 3 weeks, absolutely fine, but at this moment in time, you just kind of need to keep certain things to yourself. And I think most certainly this is going to become evident, you know, to you over these 3 weeks. It is your lotus moment that you are going to have, and this is just part of the little test and the part of the little challenge that you're actually going to have. Also, you need to realize that there is going to be like a very, very important opportunity for you this week when it comes to things that you want to kind of like when it comes to your next level, when it comes to things that you want to do in order to remove yourself from like a very boring, very like a low vibration and a negative situation in your life, which means something, the certain aspect of your life is slowly coming to an end. And that opportunity that you are going to have, it's also going to be like the open door for you. It's just going to bring you this absolutely wonderful, powerful spiritual key, which is going to make a huge impact in your life, because it's all about the motivation that you're going to have. It's all about the inspiration that you're going to have, and the whole new perspective is going to kick in, and you will see how important it is to follow your own path and ignore negativity as much as you possibly can. You see, you will be able to see the beauty where you will be able to see the beauty where you weren't able to see the beauty before. And this is going to be a sign. So you're going to feel yourself attracted to things that you haven't been attracted to for a long time. And that in itself, it's going to be your sign. You know, that when you find yourself at being attracted to things that you have been attracted to before, that you haven't been in a long time, this is your sign to also pay attention to the actual synchronicity, the numbers repeating, in particular 555, 777, and 444. Any combination of these numbers that it's actually repeating in that moment in time when you become aware of this is also going to be a very, very strong indication that you need to pay attention to on what is on your mind, but also you need to pay attention to the actual opportunity which is going to unfold, and it's not going to be that long after you become aware of this particular synchronicity. And it's also a bird. It's also going to be playing an important role. If you see an unusual, strange, or bizarre bird, you also need to know that this is going to be your messenger this week, because very shortly shortly after that moment in time, it is the opportunity that is going to come up that is so much to do with your soul, with your spirit. You know, it's going to help you so on so many different levels in order to move on with your life. But with those things that no longer serve you, you will see that something slowly came to an end, and most certainly now it's time to move on from it. Indeed. Okay, so the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful, my powerful Gemini. My gorgeous Gemini, I love you so much. You know, like, my Lord, you know, you just need to follow your bliss. You must ignore absolutely everything. You need to follow your bliss, because this week you're going to have a little bit of test, and there will seem to be like a lots of like things that you're going to become aware of. You're going to kind of hear quite a lot. You're going to be aware of like a lot of informations that are going to be very big and very heavy and very unusual and very bizarre. And now it's time to just like kind of slow down, baby. You know, now it's time to slow down and just like take one step at a time. This is about you. This is your life. This is your spiritual journey. This is something that it just belongs to you at this very moment in time. And you need to understand the power of your own soul. You need to understand the power of your own spirit, you know, because you're very deep, you're very emotional, you're very spiritual, and you're very psychic yourself, because you're born that way. You can like very much so feel this like earthly energies, and that in return can kind of confuse you, in particular if you feel like bad about someone, or if you feel sorry for someone, or if you feel like emotional about somebody or somebody's situation. You just need to remove yourself from that. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, just ignore anybody like going through something difficult. No, baby, no. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that you're very emotional sometimes, and that can kind of take you away from where you should be. So this week it's going to be pretty much so strong and like kind of hard, not hard, but very much so like a certain informations are going to be like kind of very difficult to weigh on, you know, or weigh in, or whatever they say. You know, the certain informations are going to be kind of very difficult to digest, perhaps. This is how I should actually express myself. And this means that it's pretty much so like a confusing, and it's like some kind of like a little bit of darkness attached to it. But then again, at the end of the day, it's nothing to do with you. I'm not trying to be like a dark lol or anything like that. As I said, it's nothing to do with you, but it's very easy to get tangled in between this web that is just kind of like bounces you back, and then it kind of brings you back to the exactly same place where you have actually been before, instead of moving on with your life. So this is why I need you to understand that this week you're going to be like a little caterpillar at the beginning of the week, but by the time you get to the last part of the week, you're going to turn into the actual butterfly, into the gorgeous, enormous, massive, beautiful butterfly. But this is only going to happen if you really just ignore the negativities and just keep on following your bliss, keep on following your dream. This is something that it's going to be very specifically obvious to you within the first couple of days this week. It's all about what you're going to do. It's all about your next step, but it's also all about the revisitation of the old plan that you had before, that you've put on hold. I have seen this repeatedly previously, but now this week, this is like very shining, really, really bright. It looks like so much, my Lord, that you are going to have all things, like quite a lot of things under your control. And this is very important when it comes to following that specific path, because you know, it is just maybe going to happen to you in a form of like a little nostalgic moment that you're going to have, like how things used to be type of thing. But then at the same time, you will know almost immediately that, you know, you will want to express yourself in this way. You will just feel like a very much so very powerful and strong and sacred energy within you that is just going to remind you that you just kind of need to follow your own bliss. And it's pretty much so starting with nostalgia, but it's pretty much so like to do with the revisitation of an old plan. But it's important for you to follow this through. I can see that somebody is maybe going to try to have a little bit of negative impact on you in your life, but trying to tell you like kind of opposite, or maybe kind of being quite negative to you. But then again, at the same time, you just need to follow your own bliss, and you can only do this if you follow your own intuition, because that in itself is just pretty much so gonna be so important. And you know what, like something is gonna come to you this week also, my gorgeous Gemini, you know, like when you are like maybe by the water, there is going to be like, my God, like very strong connection with the actual water that you are going to have. And this is nothing unusual, because water is very powerful. Water is playing an enormous a role in our lives, and above all, water is very spiritual. So you're either going to find yourself like by the water somewhere, like by the sea, by the lake, by the river, but it doesn't have to be that only. It could be even tap water running. It could even be like you just like putting a little bit of tap water into the actual glass. It could be like maybe you just pouring like a little coffee or something into the cup, you know, maybe you will be pouring a tea into the actual cup, and then, my Lord, something is gonna come to you, an idea, a realization, you know, and there are two specific problems that are just gonna kind of disappear almost at the same time. Okay, so this is very important to pay attention to, and this is gonna kind of be triggered, and it's gonna come to you by the power of water, which means that this is something very spiritual, very big, and very pure as well, because it's gonna play such an important role when it comes to you clearing like so much like kind of negativity and fog around you. But then once that happens, once that shifts away, then, you know, you're just going to be able to see so much. You're going to be able to connect to so much, you know, not only like in the present moment, but it's about your future. Suddenly you're just going to feel very strongly about your future, what you want to do, where you want to get, and most importantly, what is like a very kind of like an important way out of the situation and problem that you have found yourself in. This is also going to come to you at around the time when you are kind of close by the water. Maybe you will just have a little cup of tea, maybe you will have a cup of like coffee, you know, it really depends. Maybe you will have a glass of water, you know, it really, there are going to be so many different elements and realms that this can actually come to you. So it's going to require from you to be very smart. It's going to require from you to be very clever. You're going to like almost turn into like a little foxy fox, you know, and the foxes are very smart, they're very clever. So spiritually, this is a very powerful and strong animal when it comes to this situation. So never mind the fact if you do see fox somewhere, you know, maybe you can also see the actual fox like walking outside, like here in England, you know, there are many foxes, you know, there are lots of foxes here, for example. It depends in which part of the world you actually are. But also on another hand, maybe you can, you know, see the fox on the television. Maybe you can just read a book and then suddenly you see the picture of this fox. Yet again, it can come in many different realms. But also, if you do come across the fox, the actual fox this week in any way, you just need to understand that first of all, you need to pay attention to what was on your mind, the problem, the negativity, the situation that is draining your energy. But at the same time, that particular situation is just going to have a resolution not that long after you see this sign, which is going to come this week in the form of the actual fox. Very important indeed. And also, one more thing, my gorgeous Geminis, it is the negotiation. You're talking to someone, but you need to understand that you need to put your foot down and you need to express yourself. You need to understand that this negotiation is really big and it's very important. And you need to understand above all that you need to kind of express yourself. You need to explain yourself. Anything that is on your mind, it needs to literally come out of you, because by doing this, you are projecting something very powerful out of yourself, which is in return going to bring you an important truth. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Cancer. My gorgeous Cancerini, I love you so much, my gorgeous Cancerinis. Do you know what? I really like this because you are going to start feeling like this week, like things are finally starting to like kind of move on. There is a specific part of your life that was kind of placed on hold for a while actually now. So although you had a certain informations about this starting to move on and changing, and now this is the first time that you're actually going to be able to feel this, you will be able to sense this, you will be able to be part of this energy on a very, very high level, which is in return going to really kind of inspire you. From the beginning of this week, you're going to feel a fantastic inspiration. You're going to start feeling alive again. You're going to start feeling very vibrant, but at the same time, something really bizarre you are going to become aware of, something very strange, very, very, very kind of weird. But that in itself is just going to show you and help you realize how bizarre this life can be sometimes, and how strange certain people can be sometimes. And it will also show you that some people are very, very strange in this life, on our spiritual journey, on your spiritual journey. And that in itself, it's only going to open your eyes even more, and it's yet again going to make you even wiser. So this is very, very important for you to understand, because it is just gonna kind of like help you to remove yourself from like a very kind of dark tunnel that you have found yourself in because of the certain informations. Like now you find yourself here, then 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 you find yourself here. All these informations that you've been like kind of aware of that affected you, but it's nothing to do pretty much so with your life in general, you see. So this is something that you just need to come out of, and most certainly this is going to be brilliant, because there is a very powerful news that you're actually going to have very important information, and that important information that you're going to have, it's about your own accomplishment, very big accomplishment you're going to become aware of. Very big success in your life, something that you have been waiting for, but this is going to be kind of like it's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to come with an element of surprise, but with an element of a good surprise, with an element of a big surprise, because almost immediately, as soon as you become aware of this like kind of success, and this is to do with things that you have been putting your energy towards over the last 24 months, things that you wanted to achieve, when you become aware of that, it's not only like, oh yeah, wow, things are moving on, things are changing. It's not only that, but it's the idea, the most important moment here is the actual idea that you're going to become aware of, and the idea that you're going to become aware of, it's also going to lead towards like a really like kind of like, I would say probably ultimate change in your life. But you just need to trust yourself, you know, because you're going to be tested in such a way where you will kind of want to step through and do something, like make a certain change in your life, and then you will just, oh no, it's not the right time, it's not this, it's not that. You see, it's important to stay on top of things and see things for what they are, and understand your own power, the power of your soul, the power of your spirit is gonna like really take over as of this moment in time. And what that does in itself, in return, it just creates this very powerful magnetic field around you, which creates like a very kind of like a significant vibration, which is not only kind of your driving light, your driving source, but it's also at the same time protects you against all sorts of negative energy, in particular that comes to you through the actual power of you hearing certain things and then letting that to kind of affect you. On another hand, you know, my gorgeous Cancerini, what else I was going to say, you know, something that is very dear to you, something that is so important to you, is just going to need your attention. You know, something very specific about your life, something very kind of unique about your life, something very specific about your life journey. It is something that you hold so dear to your heart. It's just actually going to need your attention so much, and you will know exactly what I mean, because your intuition is just going to be your guiding light. And at the same time, there is a very important key that you are become aware of. This important key is showing the home, it's showing your immediate environment. Something is going to take place which is going to inspire you to the point when you will want to change things around you, and most certainly you should do it. Or some of you will want to like kind of maybe, you know, want to make a decision like to move on with your life somewhere else. It's so pretty much so very important time when it comes to you making like a quite significant decision based on your immediate environment. This is also pretty much so to do with your spirituality, with your spiritual journey, and with things that you should do, because this is going to reflect on you in such a rewarding way for a couple of things. Because on one hand, you're just going to increase the vibration around you, because you're going to be able to get rid of the negativity and the stale energy that becomes stale purely because things haven't been moved in a long time or for a while around you. And for a second thing, the second thing, it's going to have a powerful impact when it comes to your personal personal vibration, which means that, you know, but while you're doing this, you're doing the right thing. And then also like you become very magnetic. So what you're thinking, you're projecting, and what you're projecting, it gets back to you from the universe. So you can expect very powerful ideas at the same time. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Leo. My gorgeous Leonis, you know, you just need to kind of be very, not careful, but it looks like that you are going to become aware of the certain information, and that particular information that you're going to become aware of, you just need to be very kind of like careful about, because it's going to be big, it's going to be huge when it comes to your life, because things that didn't make sense, they're going to make sense. But most importantly, you know, it is going to have a lots of different stages. So it's not something that you should kind of like go out and just say it, because you just need to kind of take one step at a time and understand that that specific message and information that you're gonna hear is just gonna come out completely different within the next like 3 weeks. Within the next 3 weeks, that specific message, it's not necessarily going to become completely different, but there are so many other informations that you are going to have, and these other informations are just going to in return help to create like a really huge, massive, powerful picture. Where is the time to come out with that information this week? No, baby, no. I would say no, but most certainly I would wait an additional 3 weeks, and you will see exactly what I mean, because by that time you're going to reach a very important circle, very important stage in your life. So primarily this is going to reflect on you in such a way when you're going to feel like a really on top of your own intuition. Your third psychic eye is going to be wide open, but also it's about the actual evolvement of that particular information. It is not the right time to come out with this now, but within the next 3 weeks. In 3 weeks after this moment in time, it's most certainly you should go for it, and you should just kind of come out with this. So it's just something that even if you feel, oh my god, I want to do this, you know, but then again, I just say to you that it's very important to pay attention to this, because this is like a little bit of a part of your own challenge, my gorgeous Leonis. So this is why I want to explain this, express this, how important this actually is. And also, you know, my gorgeous Leonis, it is just such an important week, because you're going to be told something by someone in your life, and I've seen this before, you see, and this is again going to be kind of like so important to you, because it looks like maybe you are realizing this, maybe not. It looks like you are waiting for the specific moment when someone very significant in your life can kind of give you the green light, you know. So it is just some kind of decision that you both made, that you're gonna kind of like really start making certain changes in your life. But then again, it's pretty much on this other person to kind of like come out to you. So this could be your partner, husband, wife, best friend, family member. It really depends, but that person is going to be playing an important role when it comes to you like really kind of feeling it, because you are going to be surprised through somebody very special in your life, very close in your life. They're going to come out to you, they're going to say something to you, and it's pretty much so what they're going to say to you, it's going to surprise you, but in the best possible way, because something that you wanted to do and something that you wanted to happen, you know, for a while now, that person is going to surprise you so much, because some kind of shortcut you're going to become aware of, which means that, you know, so much sooner this is actually going to take place. In fact, when it comes to the actual exactly 4 months later, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so yeah, November, and it doesn't surprise me, double 11, fantastic, it makes sense, like there is no tomorrow. So November 2021, it's a mid-November 2021, it's actually going to be the time when this is, oh my god, going to turn into something huge, something completely different. It's almost like a huge tree is going to grow really, really high, really big and really strong, and you're going to find yourself on top of that tree. And once you see what you see, your life is going to change forever, because you will want to make a really big step. You will know exactly which step that you need to make in order to make certain things relevant in your life, to speed them up in order to get where you want to get. and in order to achieve what you want to achieve as well. And also on another hand, just remember this week, my gorgeous Leonis, that your power will be very strong when it comes to expressing yourself, when it comes to looking the way you want to look, when it comes to projecting energy the way you want to project this energy, when it comes to like you expressing yourself, and the people around you, you know, they feel you like just like that, but they feel you like in a within very powerful vibrations, you know. So my lord, you know, these things happen like every now and then, okay? It happened like about maybe a couple of times a year. So you need to also understand anything that you want to express yourself, anything that you want to say, anything that you're kind of working on and you want to take on the next level, any important things that you want to discuss, any negotiations, any kind of signing, any kind of important chats. Most certainly this is the great time to do it, because you are gonna have this extra power, not only to make the most wisest possible decisions, because you're gonna surprise yourself, you know, but also at the same time, you know, it's about your own expression and people kind of feeling you the way you want to feel them. But even more, you know, on top of everything, you're actually going to be, which is in return gonna like really make your energy very luminous, you know, very enlightening and very powerful. So I would just like to say to pay attention to this as well. But at the same time, you're gonna become aware of the moment of justice, very important moment of justice, and this is to do with you, and this is gonna put a big smile on your face, and it's gonna make you feel so much happier, it's gonna make you feel so much more ecstatic, but at the same time it's gonna be remarkable, because it is just gonna make you feel so great, my gorgeous Leonis. This is rather important indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful, my powerful Virgo. My gorgeous Virgolini, I love you so much. You know, this week you will know that, you know, you must not rush with something, you know, something quite specific in your life. You need to understand one step at a time, because it looks like you want to make the certain move, but then at the same time, when it comes to making that certain move, my lord, you're gonna find yourself like as of now onward, that every single day in your life, you know, it is just going to seem like so much is going on, like so much changed, you know, like now, you know, Mondays like this, then Tuesdays again like this, then Wednesdays again like this, you know. So it's very much so like kind of like a lot is going to be going on this week, my gorgeous Virgolini. So you just need to understand not to let these energies to take the better of you, okay? Because there is a lot going to be going on, a lot that you're going to hear and a lot that you're going to become aware of, but then at the same time, you know, you must not let this to drain your energy. This is very important for you to understand, because you know what, my gorgeous Virgolini, you're very clever, you're very smart. I'm not saying that other signs are not, but in this specific situation, there is just something very deep within you that is just gonna come out, you know. It's just like a really gorgeous, important lotus flower, which is gonna come up, and it's about to have its moment, and that in itself is so important, because lotus is so spiritual, it's very powerful, and it means that, you know, you're gonna become aware of like a kind of lots of like little masks are going to be fallen this week, and the masks that are going to be fallen this week, my gorgeous Virgolinis, this is going to be brilliant, because it's going to help you so much when it comes to your own specific spiritual journey. So going back to the beginning of this reading, okay, and I hope that this makes sense, because there are so many informations that I need to tell you, so that's why I speak like this. I speak like kind of like I'm a little bit quick, you know, I'm a little bit fast, you know. I can't really help. I try to be slower as much as I possibly can, but then again, I only channel messages like in the way that I channel to, and if I try to slow myself down, then it's just like I have to kind of like catch up with things that are just kind of around me, if you know what I mean. So this is really important. So going back to the beginning of this reading, my gorgeous Virgolini, is just basically about you know, you will be thinking that you want to make the certain move, that you will want to do something specific, and it's maybe like going somewhere, maybe like making the certain journey, maybe like kind of doing something, but you just need to be a little bit kind of, you need to slow down just a little bit, because now you know what you need to do, you know what you want to do. This is pretty much so to do with your life, and it's pretty much so to do with a big change, but you can't really kind of do that big change right now. Although the first couple of days is gonna seem like, oh my god, I want to do this, I want to go for it, but then you're gonna feel very strongly and very passionate about a certain aspect of your life, and it's involving you kind of going somewhere, the specific journey, or doing something. And this is something that I need you to be a little bit careful about, and just take one moment in time, like a slow down a little bit, because by the time you get to the actual midweek, you know, you are gonna have like a really crazy, mental, absolutely ludicrous information. You're gonna hear something, you're not gonna believe it, but then again, at the same time, you will know that sometimes this world is not what it is, and sometimes, you know, in every certain amount of time in this world, there is some kind of negativity, and pretty much like lots of evil kind of takes over. And when that happens, you know, it's a little bit of rain, and then when the rain goes, then it's like a sunshine. So you need to understand that you must not let yourself to be swept with the rain, because the sunshine, it's not going to be that long until the sunshine comes up. In fact, exactly 11 days after this week, you know, you are actually going to be in touch with somebody very close to you. It's going to tell you the specific information, and that specific information, it's really kind of going to confirm certain things to you, but also on another hand, it's going to give you an additional kind of time span, how long you should wait until you kind of make this particular journey or do something. You know, when I say this particular journey, it doesn't have to be necessarily a trip, but it's also to do with your life. It's to do with you doing things that you want to do, that you feel passionate about. So this is something I need you to pay attention to. So you are going to feel like a first Monday and Tuesday, like, oh my god, you really want to do something, you want to make this journey trip, but then again, at the same time, I would not, you can think about it, you can like kind of like write about it, you can focus on it, you know, and things like that, but you will see, I can assure you that by the time you get to the end of this week, the informations that you're going to have, it's going to change your mind a little bit, but in the best possible way. But in particular, when you're kind of going to go for it, when you're going to make this kind of like a trip or journey. But don't get me wrong, this is to do with the next step and the next stage of your life, so do not get me wrong. It's like the way out of the negativity and the boredom that you might have felt. By the same time, you're going to feel so passionate, but you must not let that passion take over until you kind of like hear the specific informations, and you become aware of the certain things in your life, because it's going to change things a little bit. But then again, it's only to do with your own planning. Okay, it's very important. You just need to remember, more than ever, my gorgeous Virgolini, that you have to trust your intuition. This is your spiritual journey. This is your soul. It is your spiritual journey. And you know, this is the week when you're going to see that life is like a little bit weird, it's a little bit bizarre, it's a little bit strange. But then that in itself is going to bring you the actual very sacred essence into your life. The reward that you trust yourself, you trust your spiritual journey. You must not let negativity to lead you astray, because you are also like one of the most powerful signs when it comes to being psychic, when it comes to your third psychic eye, but also when it comes to your spiritual connection to the earthly energies, which means that on another hand, you know, you can feel like kind of swept away by, you know, you're emotional, you're open-minded, so you're psychic, so you're an empath, so you can kind of feel negativity, you can feel certain people, but you must understand that you kind of sometimes in life you just have to ignore certain distraction and just go on, because you are gonna, you know, have a very, very important turnaround by the end of the week, and that in itself, it's only going to make you wiser. It's going to redirect you, but also at the same time, it's going to put you on the right path. And also on another hand, you know, you're just going to basically become like kind of aware of people that you should kind of be aware of, you know, and you need to give credit to yourself. It's very important, because there is some kind of conversation that you are going to have with someone this week, and you need to give a credit to yourself. It's like some kind of dealing that you're gonna have, some kind of negotiation that you're going to have, and you just need to give a credit to yourself. Anything that doesn't make sense to you, you come out with. Anything that doesn't make sense to you, you just say it. And this is the greatest time when Virgolinis, this is important because it's to do with your own passion. The greatest time when you're going to find yourself, oh my God, being in such a challenging situation. And this is all part of your spiritual test that you are going to have. Because when that happens, you're just going to find yourself like swimming against the current a little bit, And this is important because this is when you just increase the vibration of your spiritual journey in the best possible way. So very soon after that, you are gonna really gonna come out of yourself, and I like it so much. By the end of the week, you're slowly going to start coming out of yourself, and you're gonna start feeling very passionate about a very kind of powerful aspect of your life that needs change. You will know exactly what you need to do in order to make your life so ecstatic, because things that didn't make sense, they will make sense, trust me. And it's all going to be about you just giving credit to yourself. And yes, this life is sometimes strange. Yes, you're going to become aware of a certain people where masks are going to fall off, and then you just see lots of worms behind these masks, lots of worms behind this mask. But then again, as I said, sometimes in this life things are not what they seem that they are. Okay, and it's down to you to give a credit to yourself. So this is why I'm saying that this is going to be a challenging situation, and if you see that something is not quite right, you just move on, my baby. You just move on. You just move on and follow your intuition, because it is not going to lead you astray. And this particular week is going to be more important than ever, and also emotionally something is going to take place. Emotionally, something very important is going to take place. Someone is going to come out to you, somebody very important. Okay, so, and that person is going to be playing an important role when it comes to your feelings, your emotions, somebody who's very significant in your life, they're going to tell you something, and you will know exactly what to do. And this is why this is so important. And on another hand, someone also very special is about to walk into your life for the first time this week, and that person will be playing an important role in time to come. But you just need to understand, my gorgeous Virgolini, it's just basically one step at a time. And also when it comes to kind of you wanting to do something so important, and it's basically to do with the continuation, but it's to do with a certain change. It's to do with your passion. You need to understand that you're just basically gonna feel like you want to kind of express your opinion. You want to express how you think. You want to express how you feel, and this is pretty much so to do with things that you are trying to achieve. Like if you're working, it's to do with your work. If you're retired, it's to do with the next step, next stage. You're going to feel so strongly to express yourself, and this is so important for you to understand that this is coming from somewhere very deep and very sacred and very unique, because you are, through you expressing yourself this week, you're going to find out something so significant and so important about yourself that it's ultimately going to be life-changing, because it's to do with your own passion, and it's also to do with your own desire. You're going to have a moment, why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing that? This is all going to start making sense like there is no tomorrow, my gorgeous Virgolinis, indeed. Okay, so now before I do Libra, I'm just going to be 1 second, just 1 second, my gorgeous Libra. Let me just come out of my forest. Just 1 second. here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Hallelujah, hallelujah, alle Libra, alle Libra, alle Libra, alle Libra, alle Libra, alle Libra. My gorgeous Libra. Alle Libra, 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 alle. Raise your vibration, my gorgeous Libra. Raise your vibration. Do you know what? It is about the idea that you are going to have. You're going to be able to feel this with every single fiber of your body, you know, and it's time to take this on the next level. You need to understand that you're going to have a very strong sign and indication that the universe is most certainly supporting you, because something unusual is going to happen, something unusual is going to take place. Very mysterious moment you're going to have indeed, and through that mysterious moment you're going to realize something so specific and so important when it comes to your life. Something that was so unreal is going to become real. Something that you were uncertain, you're going to become so certain. But this is all going to be playing an enormous important role with you moving on with your life, but understanding at the same time that the more courageous you are, the more self-esteem you are going to have, and the more increased your personal vibration is going to be. So this is something I need you to understand, and this is what I said. The idea that you are going to have, it is going to come with an element of like, I'm not too sure and this and that, but no baby, no, you will know exactly what I mean. You will know that this is to do with the next step and next stage of your life. This is the more important than ever, but at the same time it's boiling down to the certain point that you need to understand. It's all about the actual time that you give a credit to yourself, but to understand that the universe is actually supporting you, and just for that mysterious moment that you're going to have, it's just really going to surprise you. Something is going to happen, whether the little kid is just going to appear a cat around you, and then it's just going to communicating in a certain way. You will know that this is part of your vibration, or this is going to come in a form of like an unusual kind of cold spot in the home, like a spiritual activity. Maybe the lights are going to flick a little bit, or maybe you will have the certain numbers repeating in particular numbers when it comes to the actual 10 10 10 or 10 10, or if it comes to 9 9 9, you know, if it comes to 11 11, you know, any specific combination of these numbers that you might become aware of. You also at the same time you need to know that this is going to be a very strong sign when there is going to be such a powerful opportunity and confirmation about a certain path that you should actually take, because it's going to help you so much. But you need to give a credit to yourself, because you're very deep, you're very powerful, you're very kind of psychic indeed. So you like this balance to be just right. The balance is not going to seem completely right, but the more you give a credit to yourself, this is what I'm talking about, the more you give a credit to yourself, the more powerful you're going to be. You just need to get that candle going within you, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. And you can actually do this from the beginning of the week, just by focusing on a certain part of your life that makes you feel good, that makes you feel great, that makes you feel better, that's inspiring you. But also at the same time, when it comes to the next step that you need to make, and what is in between that is actually holding you down, what is the problem, what is the negativity, you're going to learn to read something very interesting in between the lines. And this week this is going to be highlighted. You're going to become aware of the maybe certain person or certain people in your life that you should be paying attention to, because you will be able to see beyond a certain mask. And that in itself, what is this going to reveal? It's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. But yet again, the part of your spirituality and this world and why we are here is when we need to give a credit to ourselves by not to be so uniformed about our feelings and about our emotions and about our spirituality, because people became quite uniformed when it comes to this. People just kind of started to give more credit to certain things around them rather than to their own feelings and emotions. I know this sounds a little bit weird, but this week this is going to be more important than ever. You are holding the key. You are holding the power. You are holding this energy. You are holding this vibration. You are remarkable, and this is going to show you the way this week. And how it's going to happen, it's also, at the beginning of the week, you're going to have an information about your own kind of like success. Now, success with a specific situation in your life that hasn't been moving on. Maybe if you're working, it's to do with work and things that you've been trying to achieve. If you are retired, it's maybe certain project that you started and you just left it aside, But however, the week is going to start with a very important message, and that message is really going to be rather varavumish indeed, because it's going to show you the way. It's going to open your eyes, and it's also going to make you realize how firm you are, and that you just need to stay firmly on the ground by standing on your ground, by keeping your feet on the ground, by listening to your own intuition, because most certainly it is not going to lead you astray. In fact, it's going to bring a big, massive, enormous smile on your face, my gorgeous Libra, in particular when it comes to this week. Indeed, I'm liking this so much because you're just going to realize how strong you are. So you have been tested quite a lot, my gorgeous Libra, in particular when it comes to the last 24 months, and you have been tested a lot, and this took a big chunk out of your energy out of you without you even realizing, because you have found yourself in this web, tangled in this web of negativity. But then at the same time, you just need to also be pretty much aware of the fact that you have to follow your spiritual journey. Sometimes things in this life are not what they seem that they actually are. Sometimes this life is absolutely crazy. Sometimes this life is absolutely weird. Sometimes this life is absolutely bizarre. And most certainly, life is not meant to be completely easy, okay? Life is not meant to be easy. We are going through things in our lives. We are learning, we are growing, we are evolving. When it comes to this, you just need to understand that you are going to have a very, very big moment of your own growth, and you're going to evolve quite a lot. So this is why it's important to give a credit to yourself. On another hand, as I said, you're going to realize how strong you are. You're going to kind of realize what you actually have been through. And this is going to make you feel so good. It's going to put a really big smile on your face. But most importantly, it's just going to start kind of like, it's going to connect you with yourself on a very deep and very high level. And then suddenly, there's so many little directions that are going to become obvious to you that were around you all this time. But you just kind of have to give a credit to yourself in order to make them visible. And this is what is actually going to happen here. And it's fantastic because it's going to lead towards a very important moment of enlightenment when it comes to you being very sharp and very quick and making like a very important decision, which is pretty much so going to reflect on your finances, on your future planning, on your life in general. This is pretty much so just doing the right thing, but it's to do with your finances, financial situation in your life, in general. So this is very, very important indeed. I'm liking it because it is going to bring you such a strong and powerful moment of enlightenment, and I really like it. You're gonna feel the very powerful vibration that you didn't feel in a long time, but also at the same time you're gonna become aware of the certain things that you, oh my god, that you will not know how to come out with. They're gonna be very strange and very ludicrous and very bizarre, but then again, they're not to be said or told to kind of everybody. So you just need to understand that it's just sometimes, to keep certain things to yourself, it's really, really wise. And it's just going to bring you a rewarding moment later on, because 12 weeks, within the next 12 weeks, it is going to be the time when you're going to come out with this and say this particular information. And then it's all going to make sense why you why it wasn't the right time to actually say it here. And also, on another hand, just remember this, that the particular opportunity is very important here, not to kind of ignore it, because this opportunity that is going to arise for you by the end of the week, it's going to seem very tiny, my gorgeous Libra, like tiny, 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 weeny, okay? But it's not about how small this opportunity is. And the opportunity that I'm talking about is just bringing something into your path, into your life. Like you're doing this already, you're focusing on it already, you're already bathing in this energy, you're already part of this energy. So maybe you're doing, it's a certain job, maybe you've been focusing on something, but there is something missing. And this is going to become obvious, you know, and it's going to become obvious to you at around the time when you see like some kind of a bird. Some kind of bird is going to either appear around you, or either you're gonna sit in front of the window, or it's gonna be on your balcony, or maybe a little bird you're gonna see while you're walking outside. Maybe you will see it in your garden. Maybe you will just like kind of see it like somewhere in the picture. You know, it really depends in what type of realm this is actually going to happen. But my point is, you will know that this is part of your dimension. You will know that this is part of your energy, because this is going to be relevant to you so much. But the more so, you're actually going to, when you see that bird, you will know that something very sacred is coming. And this is also going to be a sign when you will know that, like, not that long after you see this bird, after you become aware of this bird, you will know that, you know, what is missing in your life, that learning little experience that you need to have. It is that connection. It's going to become very vibrant in that moment in time. So it's not going to be that long until you see exactly what do you kind of need to bring into your life. So if you're working, it's going to be an element of maybe even just a reading extra about something, and then it just takes you, oh my lord, on the path that you could have never thought it would have happened so far. Or if you're like kind of like maybe if you're retired, for example, and then you know, you see the bird, and then you will know exactly like what kind of there is going to be the certain aspect of your life that is going to be highlighted in such a way where you need to learn, and you need to read up about it a little bit more before you move on with your life. So this is really important moment. If you're looking for work, for example, you know, it's also going to be like kind of leading towards the moment that you're just going to start kind of finding yourself like, oh, being very interested about something. You start reading and it's like, oh my god, and you realize something, and then it's like a mind-blowing moment that this is going to create later on. Not only this is going to be important when it comes to your spiritual path, you know, and your journey, but this is also going to play an important role later on, because you're going to become so much more wiser, because you're going to become aware of something really crazy, really big, really bizarre. But it's really important for you to give a credit to yourself and see things for what they are, rather than being fed by maybe the certain negative entities around you who could actually contribute towards you having a little bit of clouded mind and not thinking for yourself. Very important, my gorgeous Libra, indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Scorpio, my gorgeous Scorpione. My god, you know what? You are kind of going to be so spiritually protected this week. Spiritual protection, it's going to become like, spiritual protection is going to become absolutely evident. And I really like it. It is going to be like a moment like, oh my god, you're going to be aware of like a paranormal, if I can say like that. You're going to be aware of something very strange. You're going to be aware of something really bizarre and something really unusual, but it's pretty much so to do with like the actual different world, with a spirit world, with a life beyond, you know. And this in itself is just going to really kind of be playing an important role when it comes to you feeling very spiritually protected, because something and someone, it's actually going to come out to you. But I am talking about the spirit. I am talking about a certain entity that is going to be playing an important role here, like there is no tomorrow. Your intuition is yet again going to be pretty much highlighted this week, but your intuition is also going to be a guiding light, in particular when it comes to you doing the right thing, when it comes to like maybe sometimes you just have to like kind of swim against the current, because you know this world can be a little bit strange, a little bit weird, and a little bit unusual, and this world world can be a little bit crazy, and then at the same time, certain masks fall down, and then at the same time, what you see beyond, it's like, oh my god, you thought they were human, but they're like worms, it's like type of thing. So it is just sometimes, in this world, things are not what they seem that they actually are, and that it's all boiling down to you finding yourself on a certain crossroads. By the same time, the only way out is to trust yourself and trust your intuition, because you're going to become aware of something really ludicrous, at the same time crazy, but then again, it is going to play an absolutely massive role when it comes to you really kind of protecting your life, protecting yourself in your own way, by doing the right thing that only makes sense to you. You really have to understand that now it's the time to listen to your intuition. Your third psychic eye is going to yet again put you very, very close to something. You are going to find yourself in this realm. You are going to find yourself being part of this like kind of situation, whether this is going to be like a maybe you will read something, maybe it's going to be certain information, maybe you will be watching something, maybe you will connect something to something, but however, it is just like about the actual realization that it's almost going to kind of test your own sanity. Now, don't get me wrong, it's like almost like, oh my god, it's really weird. You're going to feel something for the first time in your life very strongly, but then things are going to make sense to you like there is no tomorrow, so you will know what to do when it comes to you, and when it comes to people in your life, it's the specific message that you will have. You will want to kind of say it, you will want to talk about, you will want to open up, you will want to communicate, and most certainly when it comes to you, if you feel like it, you should do it, because the more you talk about it, the more you communicate, the more you're going to be connected to it, the closer you're going to be, the more you're going to find out. This is not only about yourself, but it's also a lot about people in your life, people who mean to you a lot, and it's also about the power of your own existence. This is all about the power of our own existence. If you ignore your own spirit, and if you ignore your own existence, it's just going to be not going to be good, and things are going to be repeating in your life until you start paying attention to your own spirituality, to your own existence. And what do I mean by this is following your own intuition. Do things only that make sense to you. Focus on things that only make sense to you, because a very important part of yourself, element of your life, is going to return from the past, from a long time ago, that is so important to do with your passion, but is just left behind, unfinished. Now it's time to go back and take it and bring it forward into this life. Not only this is going to bring you a remarkable insight into your life, but also it's going to happen at around the time when you're going to be so wise, and quickly, sharply, you will know exactly what to do. And you're going to feel so strong, and it's not the first time that you will know what to do, but now you're going to have this absolutely right balance, because it's to do with an energy blockage as well. It's to do with you being slow about kind of moving on with your life and making certain decisions, because you were kind of worried so you don't make the certain mistakes again. So this is all going to be making sense to you, my gorgeous Scorpione, and it's all boiling down to you just like really trusting yourself, because this week it's going to be more challenging than ever. I don't want to sound like, oh my god, but no, it's really great, because you're going to be you're going to have thrown on you. You're going to feel like there were lots of like kind of informations thrown at you that are just bringing you down, and they're affecting you, and they're making your life very heavy, and they're just bringing more negativity. So you just need to just get rid of it. Get rid of the bastards. Get rid of the negative energy. Get rid of the bastards by ignoring things that haven't got anything to do with you or with your life. This is specifically to do with you, and you're going to have so much room to grow here as long as you give a credit to yourself as well. And somebody in your life is just, it's going to be playing an important role here as well, for two reasons. Two specific people in your life. One person so close to you, you're going to feel so proud around, and this is absolutely brilliant. One person very close to you, maybe your child, your brother, your sister, your friend, I don't know, you were like maybe helping them, you were doing something, you were working on something, so you will be able to see the actual outcome, so you're going to feel so proud of yourself, and I really like it. And another person person that I'm talking about, it's really going to be a bit of a surprise here. Somebody's like, I don't know if I can say like a blast from the past, but not necessarily really, you know, but it's just pretty much so somebody well, it could be like blast from the past, but it's not just in a complete term of that word, you know, that sentence. It's just more like somebody is about to kind of walk into your life, and somebody very specific, very important to you, that was actually kind of detached a little bit, you know, somebody who you have a very strong energy with, that you were detached a little bit for a while. It's about to bounce back into your life, and it's about to tell you something very specific, you know, and this is going to surprise you. It's going to confuse you a little bit, but then at the same time it's going to open your eyes, and it's going to be very vibrant moment in time, because it's almost immediately going to help you to reconnect with yourself, because it's somebody who knows you, who knows your spirit, who knows your soul, that is going to help you to come out of yourself when it comes to the specific subject. Something about yourself is going to be highlighted through that person, and it's important, my lord, because it's going to help you to move on, you know. You will see exactly what I mean, my gorgeous Scorpioni, indeed. Okay, so now one more thing, my gorgeous Scorpioni. Also, your Vavavumish energy is going to be really strong, really strong. You know, your little sexual energy, your Vavavumish energy is going to be very strong. So use it wisely. You know, you will be noticed by the right people. You will be kind of like a very much so connecting to the right people, but also the right people will be able to connect to your own energy. So throughout this week, if you're like, oh hello my darling, you know, if you like someone, you will notice that lots of people will be able to notice your beauty and your charm and your sex appeal, you know, like this like a very strong energy, like on a very high level. So, you know, you can just like kind of play a little bit, you know, but then again, at the same time when this happens, you know, this is pretty much so to do with our own destiny and faith, and lots of other things that are going to be playing an important role, because I think that most certainly someone very kind of like a very interesting, it's about to start making their way into your life, my gorgeous Scorpioni, and this week is somehow going to be pretty much so kind of responsible and connected to it like there is no tomorrow. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Sagittarius, my gorgeous Sagittarini. You know, it's like you also need to understand that it's like a kind of like a bit of a challenging week that you're going to have, but in a good way, because like most of the signs are having like a little bit of a challenging week in a certain way, and this is to do with us going through the actual very specific part of our own spiritual journey, and when that happens, you know, especially when it comes to you, you're reaching a very important stage, you're reaching a very important circle, my gorgeous Sagittarini, and this is very, very important to say indeed. And it is going to be quite challenging, because you're gonna find yourself, you know, you need to understand that you're gonna find yourself like a little bit all over the place when it comes to your energy at the beginning of the week. When I say a little bit all over the place, you're gonna find yourself like maybe oh, that you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, you can't be bothered to do this, you can't be bothered to do that. Now this is very important what I'm gonna say, because this energy in itself, especially this week, it's gonna be like mind-blowing, and this is only tricky little challenging bit that you're actually going to have, and it's gonna lead to such a huge, enormous, giant moment, but it requires from you to step through, to knock on this spiritual door, to step forward, to do what you want to do what you need to do. In fact, the more kind of, oh god, negative you feel, or the more kind of slow you feel, or the more like, oh no, I don't have energy type of thing, it makes you feel like you don't have the energy. But you just need to understand that this moment in time, you are being tested a little bit when it comes to your own challenge. This moment in time, it's going to bring you life a changing situation. You just need to, when I say you need to make a spiritual knock, if you're like kind of painting, for example, My gorgeous Sagittarius, if you are painting, for example, and you're really tired, I advise you, my lord, just on that particular day, use this energy into your own advantage. You had this thick, powerful energy before, but nothing like this week, nothing like what is actually going to happen this week. You just need to remember to stay committed to the task at hand. For example, if you're really tired and negative, not only at the beginning of the week, but throughout the week, whichever task you take, you just go for it, because it's going to be really magical. And all you need to do is just go for it, go forward, do it, make that spiritual knock, use that spiritual key, open the door, go through, go forward, and you will see exactly what I mean. It's really important, because you are going to find yourself in a very, very important element. In fact, as soon as you start kind of doing things, not only you're going to be able to forget about this negativity and the negative energy, and not only your energy is just going to have such a powerful and huge, massive, enormous readjustment. Not only that, but it's just going to take you somewhere where you haven't been in a long time. And even more so, pay attention to your dreams. Even more so, see what you're going to be reminded of. And even more so, somebody from the past, somebody very close to you, it's about to come through, it's about to come forward. May not be like directly to you, but that person is just through a certain spiritual realm going to become an important figure in your life, and you are going to become aware of this person, and something that they're going to say, or something that they say, that it's going to play an important role to you so much, because it's going to open your eyes, and it's going to help you to see things for what they are, and something ludicrous, crazy, mental, absolutely crazy you're going to become aware of. And it's just going to be pretty much so to do with your own confirmation. And you also need to understand that sometimes, this world, it's not what it is. Sometimes things are not what they seem that they are, and sometimes, things are kind of all uniformed, but then when they're not uniformed, things, I'm talking about things, when they're not uniformed, then when they're not in the right, adjusted in the right way, then, a lot falls down, lots of masks fall down, and then you realize that behind these masks, they weren't even like maybe people, they were like some kind of beast, and this is exactly because you're going to become aware of something, and the only explanation to that, to the certain actions, maybe of certain persons, certain people, would be like, maybe like they're not even like human type of thing. And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, and exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to like really trusting your own intuition. So it's all about the confirmation that you're going to have, which is going to seem completely crazy, but it's important for you to understand. The more you give credit to yourself, you just basically, the more you just kind of follow your own path, the more reward you are going to have, and the more blissful future you are going to have. But if you let like kind of negativity to take the better of you, if you let the negativity to actually take over, then that is going to affect you in so many different ways. And this is something that is very important that you need to understand, because this is why it's significant for you from the beginning of this week just to throw yourself into all sorts of situations, but in particular when it comes to the next step. What is the task? There is the certain task that is going to be keep on repeating. So it depends. If you're working, it's to do with your work. If you're like retired, it's to do with like something that is slowing you down, some certain perspective that you need to pay attention to. It really depends where are you at, but most certainly you will know what I mean. And then on another hand, it's just like a very strong connection with a certain part of your future. It's like some kind of a vision that you're going to have, and it's going to be so vivid, my gorgeous Sagittarius. A vision you will have this week as well, and that vision is going to be so vivid, and that vision is going to be connected to like about 4 different specific things in your life that is going to be so highlighted, and it's going to be so vivid. It's going to be in your future, and you're going to feel such a strong connection when it comes to that. Before, you wouldn't be able to connect so much, but now this is going to help you to shoot, your energy so much. And it's important because it is just also going to be the moment in time when, you're going to feel very wise, you're going to feel very inspired, your inspiration will be very strong. So all these energies are going to take over, and it's most certainly going to kind of create like a very spiritual, massive, enormous, huge, big, massive, you know, like the glass, magnifying glass, like a spiritual magnifying glass. This week it's all about you having your spiritual magnifying glass, because by the time we get to the last couple of days, by the time you get to the last couple of days of this week, this spiritual magnifying glass is just going to help you to see so much, to understand so much, but also something very unique and something very important and something very significant when it comes to you. It's going to need your attention. So your uniqueness, you will need to take on the next level, and your spiritual magnifying glass is going to help you to see exactly what this is, how to do it, and how to go on about it. So this is very important, my gorgeous Sagittarini, indeed. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful, my powerful Capricorn, my gorgeous Capricornius, my gorgeous Capricornius. You know, it's like, oh my God, this week it's going to be like a little bit really weird, you know, and I'm not going to even lie to you, you know, it's going to be a little bit weird, a little bit strange, and one thing is going to lead to another. But I want to stress this, and I want to be very specific that this is nothing to do with you. You're very deep, you're very spiritual, you're very powerful. I say this every time. I know I do. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. So that means that you're very psychic, you're very open, your third psychic eye is like, oh my Lord, and especially this week it's going to be very highlighted, but that in return helps you to connect to the actual spiritual earthly energies on a very high and very deep level. And whether you, so I've got my cat's hair everywhere, and whether you like this or not, this is the way you are. You are holding a very strong and very unique power when it comes to your own essence, and when it comes to your own psychic feelings and psychic energy, which is fantastic. But on another hand, it can be very draining sometimes, you know, when there are certain things going on around you that you can't understand, that they're absolutely crazy, absolutely ludicrous, you know. It's just takes out of you so much. It takes the better of you so much, because there's nothing you can do about it, you know. But then again, at the same time, a little bit of a black tourmaline can help to have around you, you know. And maybe bag of little salt, like a sea salt in your pocket, would be actually really nice as well, because it helps you to protect yourself from the negative energy, you know. Either a little bit of like a sea salt in your bag, in a little bag in your pocket, or either maybe something like like a black tourmaline, which is also fantastic to protect yourself and against negative energy. Maybe black onyx and things like that, you know, very powerful when it comes to this. Also an amethyst is very powerful, but my personal choice would be like something like a black tourmaline. So that helps you a lot, kind of to balance out your own energy. So there is nothing else that you could actually do about it. And then maybe little meditations, and most importantly, give credit to yourself. As I started this reading, one day it's going to lead to another. Nothing to do with you, but it's to do with things that you're going to become aware, that you're going to hear, and they're really going to affect you. But you must not let this affect you too much. Pretty much so this is very obvious, because you know there is something like absolutely mind-blowing, crazy, ludicrous, mental, absolutely out of this world is going to come out to you. It's something that's going to happen, you know. I don't want to sound scary or anything. I say it's nothing to do with your life specifically, but you're just going to become aware of like maybe certain entities. I call them entities because these are not people. Maybe I call this is not a person. These are not a people, because you know, whether you believe this or not, but sometimes, you know, this life is not what it is. This life is not what it seems that it is. And also, it does come to the point in life when, you know, we become aware of it. And this is the great part of our spiritual journey, and it's a great part of our test. And it's time to give a credit to yourself. You become aware of this, and it's going to be mental crazy. And it's more like somebody's mask is going to be fall down. And that's why I call them entity, because it's to do with the people in a real life, but it's like not the real people. It's like, wow, so malicious and so like kind of like a rotten behind this mask. I don't even see the face. There is not even the face there. You see, these are the type of like entities that I'm talking about, you see, and this is what you're going to become aware of, like a huge, massive confirmation. But then again, you are going to make like a really big step at that moment in time when it comes to your own wiseness, and you're going to realize something very specific, you know, something that maybe somebody would laugh at you just like about a few months ago, a few weeks ago, you know, and then this is all pretty much so to do with you kind of, oh wow, I wasn't crazy or something, you know, type of thing. So this is important because at the end of the day, you need to pay attention to your own path. You need to pay attention to your own journey, and I'm saying this only because you can be swept very easily in the very dark web of the negativity, and that just drains your precious energy, and then you forget to think about your life and to think about your path. So this is something that I would like to remind you right at the beginning of the week, that you should pay attention to your life, your path, your opportunities. You know, there are two special opportunities that you are going to have, and if you let this week, by the end of the week, and if you let this energy to be swept away by this negativity, and it's nothing to do with you, it's just about the realization, big realization, and the fact that sometimes in this life, most certainly you need to learn how to trust your intuition and also swim against the current. It's not easy. It is not easy, but ultimately this brings you like the biggest, like the most powerful spiritual reward of your life, that is just kind of going to protect you in so many different ways when it comes to your finances, when it comes to having a strong perspective, and when it comes to like you knowing and understanding exactly what you need to do. And also somebody very important in your life, you know, it's going off the way a little bit. Again, somebody in your life, you need to pay attention to, somebody close to you. It's been kind of led astray. And you just need to understand how to go about it. This person is important in your life, and this person has been led astray by some kind of negative entity, you see. So that's why you need to pay attention to who this is, and you need to see what this is. I'm not saying that you need to go and read and check and this, maybe it's your child, maybe it's your brother, sister, mother, it doesn't really matter. You will know and you will become aware of this person, you know, but it's only like, I see the letter A very strongly, A as in A, but it's also in spiritual terms, it's pretty much so to do with the beginning, you know, it's only at the beginning stages. So you need to step in, you need to step through, because you know what to do. And this is like almost like, this is so important. This is really, really, really important, my gorgeous Capricornius. So this is something that I need you to pay attention to, most certainly. On another hand, my gorgeous Capricornius, you know what I really, really like? It's just like a basically, yet again, you will find yourself like kind of fantasizing about the love. No, I'm joking. About the love in your life. No, you're going to find, maybe, but you're going to find yourself like a fantasizing about like the certain parts. Just pay attention to this. This is very important. You are... Oh, your mind is going to be refreshed. You're going to be reminded of something when it comes to your past. Okay, this is important. So maybe you will dream about it. Maybe you will wake up in the morning and you're gonna just think about the specific things in your past. Maybe you're gonna meditate, it's gonna come to you. Maybe you're just gonna be relaxing, and it's gonna come to you. It's the bottom line is that this specific moment when you feel a very strong connection with your past, you know, you're gonna realize that you're halfway somewhere really special, really particular, really important. You're gonna be able to become aware of the certain timeline, which is on another hand it's going to have a very refreshing and important impact on you, in particular when it comes to like making an important decision based on things that you have been through, based on things that you have learned, based on the certain experience that you've had. This is all going to make sense, but also it's going to play an enormous giant role when it comes to you making a decision later on. And also absolutely remarkable week when it comes to like a people in your life. Try to connect to people in your life. Try to talk to people in your life. Try to connect to people in your life. Try to talk to people in your life. Try to express yourself as much as you can. to the actual people in your life, because also on another hand, somebody very close to you, somebody important to you, it's going to tell you something, it's going to point something about you that you should kind of like a really kind of that it's missing in your life, and then it's going to surprise, no, it's going to surprise you, you're going to be like, no, it's not missing, you know, and then you're going to realize, oh my god, this is actually missing in my life. So you're going to really like this indeed. Okay, Capricornius, 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 raise your vibration. Capricornius, Capricornius, pam 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 pam. 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 Don't forget to raise your vibration, my gorgeous Capricornians. I love you so much. You see, I didn't forget your song. Okay, so now the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Aquarius. Do you know what, my gorgeous Aquamarini? You are gonna go through the ring of fire. This week you are going to go through the ring of fire, which means it's just so important for you to understand that you are gonna be tested so much, in particular when it comes to your patience, in particular when it comes to your nerves, in particular when it comes to your reaction, because somebody is just, this is important, and I'm going to say it because this is really kind of affecting your own power of your own transformation, you know, and you will see what I mean. So you are going to be tested, you know, you're going to be going to the ring of fire, and to go to the ring of fire without being completely affected and burned is just basically to be very smart and very clever. So somebody's going to like kind of wind you up this week, and you just need to remember my words, you just need to remember what I'm gonna say, and the best way to kind of like respond to this is just really rise above it as much as you possibly can. This is somebody who's like kind of like a ludicrous, this person, and it's also gonna come from the ludicrous direction, from the ludicrous situation in your life that hasn't got much to do with you in your life or with that other person, but it's just the situation that is going to be created is going to take so much out of you energetically, so that in itself it's going to make you kind of like live through this situation at a very kind of like unusual time, or maybe wrong time, you know, maybe you will be dealing with something else, so you are going to feel the pressure. So if you hear this reading, you know, before that happens, you know, that week, you know, and this is in between the 19th and the 25th of July 2021, so you will know that just like somebody's going to try to wind you up, and then this is also going to kind of like also gonna help you realize the certain phase, you know, something that you have been so wondering about, somebody very specific in your life. It's also kind of going to come out to you in this particular way through this situation, through that ring of fire. It's also going to be like kind of connected to the certain mask that is going to fall around somebody else, you know, in your life. But then again, you will know exactly what to do, because it's to do with you avoiding the certain situation, knowing which situation to avoid, and also knowing which person to avoid. But, you know, at the same time, you just need to kind of like this is the second week that I'm seeing this, and that means that you just have to like keep certain things to yourself that are important to you, because you're just going to need to kind of close yourself in between you and somebody else. I'm sorry, but it's true. Not in a bad way. It's just to protect yourself and to protect your other person, I suppose. But it's just like it's pretty much so to do with you and finding out something very sacred and very specific and very important in your life this week. But then somebody else could take the advantage of that, and you are going to become aware of that person who is actually maybe kind of like taking advantage of that in a negative way. And this is going to be the moment, like bam bam bam, when that mask is going to be fallen, and you're going to be able to see for this person for what they are. So this is very, very important for you to understand, because it's going to help you to avoid the little hidden danger. And I say a little hidden danger, but then again, at the same time, you had your own assumptions, you had your own kind of thinking about that. You know, there was something at some moment in your life, you know, not that long ago, that you were wondering, you were uncertain. So now, most certain, when it comes to that person, you are going to get your answer. So you will get like a very important information this week, my gorgeous Aquamarini, and I'm so happy for you, because the information that I'm talking about, it's really great when it comes to your future. It's great when it comes to your planning. It's great when it comes to your finances. It's great when it comes to your own success. But it's also great when it comes to your own hard work and your own uniqueness, your own power. Okay, and I am seeing somebody who I just don't trust here yet again. So this is something that you just have to kind of like keep this powerful information to yourself this week, and you will want to come out with this. You will want to say it, but I would just say wait for another 3 weeks. Another 3 weeks are going to reveal very important revelation when it comes to a very significant part of your life being kind of very close to you, much closer than what you thought. But then suddenly you're going to feel like this person is maybe not part of this anymore. I know it sounds really weird, but you will see what I mean, because karmically it just means that you slowly came to an end with karma, with you and somebody else. It could be like your partner, somebody very close to you, but then again, it could be somebody who you maybe work with, or somebody who is like around you every now and then. You know, it really depends, but you will know what to do. But the great news is, my gorgeous Aquamarini, is the actual specific information that you will have about yourself, you know, about your kind of like success and achievement, things that you have been working on, but also it's to do with your own uniqueness and the hard work that came from you, and you deserve this. You have been waiting for this for such a long time, but also you need to understand to be very smart and very clever at the same time, as you normally are. You always are, but sometimes you let your emotion take the better of you in such a way, because you're very beautiful signs, you're very loving, you know, you're very gorgeous, you're very giving, you know, and sometimes, you know, there's certain people around you that you may not kind of show their real face. So this is why I just need you to be kind of like a very much so as open-minded as you can, but at the same time, as I said, keep certain things to yourself, but also it's about your uniqueness being rewarded. Okay, so anything quirky and anything weird and anything bizarre that comes to you this week, my gorgeous Aquamarini, most certainly you should do it, because this week it's all about being unique, not only having an important reward about being unique, but it's also about you projecting that powerful energy. So anything weird and unique that comes to you, most certainly you should go for it. Most certainly you should do it, because every single time you do it, you come out of yourself that much little bit more, and that makes you more wiser, that makes you understand more things, that gives you more power, and most importantly, that is just also going to be very much so a reminder from me yet again to pay attention to what is causing the addiction in your life, whether this is a little bit of alcohol, whether this is, I'm not saying, oh my God, just stop, just cut down, like, oh my God, it's sad, la. No, baby, no, I'm just saying, like, to just kind of like chill out, take it easy, you know, maybe you smoke too much, just chill out, cut it down a little bit, you know, maybe you're doing some other things, God forbidden, you know, but then again, at the same time, it's just time to pay attention to what this is, because it's just came to part of your life that it's really draining your energy. Now it's not the time to kind of get swept by this negativity, because it just kind of creates this fake reality around you. And this is very important for you to be awakened throughout this time, my gorgeous Aquamarini, because you know, at the same time, you're also going to become aware of something like, oh my Lord, by the end of the week, something so crazy, something so mental, something so ludicrous. You're not going to be able to believe what you're going to become aware of, but it's nothing to do with you, and it's nothing to do with your life, but it's to do with a massive confirmation that sometimes in this life, things are not what they seem that they actually are. Okay? And the only response to this in the best possible way, in a sane, spiritual way, is just to follow your own intuition. And sometimes, you know, you just have to swim against the currents a little bit. But then again, at the same time, it's following your own intuition. It is not going to lead you astray. This life is not meant to be easy. We are meant to live and learn. But also, every now and then, there are very, very strange things taking place that may not be nothing to do with your world, your life. But you must understand that, you know, it's more about the confirmation for you to follow your intuition now and in the future, rather than kind of like paying attention to it, like kind of like a negativity around you that can take like the better of you. It's very important indeed. In the middle of the night, my gorgeous Aquamarini, you know, in the middle of the night, you are going to have a specific, like, kind of like a spirit who's going to come to you. And I'm seeing this so often for you, my gorgeous Aquamarini, but there is a certain spirit that is going to come to you in the middle of the night. And that spirit is somebody who used to be in your life. That spirit, you know, you're going to become aware of. Maybe you will smell that person, their perfume. Maybe you will smell that food, somebody who was very close to you at some moment in your life and now they passed away. So at the same time, what is very specific to say, when you become aware of that spirit in the middle of the night, my gorgeous Aquamarini, at the same time, it's even more important to say that not that in between then and the next day, oh gosh, they're there to bring you the message, they're there to bring you the key, very important key. Okay, so which means that they're bringing a very important message, very important key, in order for you to understand, you know, something very specific. And this is coming from the deepest wiseness of the deepest times ever, you know. So this is very important. So when you become aware of this spirit, okay, you just need to know, okay, look what you can pick up at that moment in time, what message you can have. But at the same time, you need to know that in between then and the next day, this particular spirit is bringing you the actual message when it comes to you having a very important key, which is going to unlock at the same time like a remarkable door in your life. Very important for your spiritual journey indeed. Okay, the next sign that I'm going to be talking about is going to be my gorgeous, my ever so precious, my beautiful Pisces. My gorgeous Piscelinis, I love you so much. I mean, do you know what? It's just a basically, please, it's going to be the moment this week when you're going to like kind of think that you want to kind of do like something really big change, really big moment, but then there's something is not going to feel right. So, and you will be aware of this, and it's going to require from you to make a certain step, the certain move, the step in the certain direction. But I say, do not rush. My Lord, do not rush, because this is very, very important, my gorgeous Piscelini. There is something that is maybe the certain opportunity that you are going to have, and I would avoid this like a plague. Like, my Lord, I would avoid this like a plague, like there is no tomorrow. So, you know, it is half of you is going to be saying like, yeah, I'm just going to go for this opportunity, and the half of you is going to be telling you, no, baby, no. But that other half that is going to be telling you, no, baby, no, is just going to be very heavy, very powerful, very strong, very significant, and it's most certainly going to be taking over. But the other part of you is just kind of influenced and impacted by the certain maybe person, you know, and certain entity, a certain person that maybe did not have the right intentions, positive intentions, they were not good intentions. So this is why you're gonna find yourself like in like a little bit of like ooh la la, like a little bit of a half and half moment. So you understand, half of you're gonna be like kind of torn apart spiritually, and kind of you're gonna be torn apart like a mentally, and you're gonna kind of not know what to do. And this is really kind of going to put you in an indecisive moment. And this is my advice, but you will know that something is not quite right. right, you know, and this is why the time has come, my gorgeous Pisces, that you need to give a credit to yourself more than ever. When I say you need to give a credit to yourself more than ever, you're very deep, you're very spiritual, you're very powerful, you're very psychic, you're very unique through your own emotion. Your own emotions are your power. Your own emotions show how deep you are, how far you can go within your own personal dimension. And what am I talking about right here, right now? It's your own power to see things for what they are. But then again, on another hand, your own goodness and your own good spirit cannot believe that a certain person can maybe try to lead you astray. You know, it's maybe this person is like a very dark entity, or maybe this person has been misled by themselves. So that's why that negativity and dark energy is coming from them. So the bottom line is that you're very clever as well. Your energy, your spiritual energy makes you very, very clever as well at the same time. That's my OCD now going like, oh, it's not straight. But yeah, anyway, so your spirituality, you're very clever, you know, you're very powerful. And when it comes to like making like decisions, like quick decisions, you know, they come from somewhere very powerful and very deep normally. But sometimes because you're so emotional, you see, you can kind of be swept by this web of negativity, and this negativity is around you can kind of take the better of you, and then that can affect your way of thinking. So going back to the beginning of this reading, sorry my gorgeous Pisces, I know I'm being really confusing, but it's just a confusing time at the moment, I guess, you know. So this energy is just like kind of this vibration. It's all about you following your own spirit. This is why we are here. You will have such a wise moment, my gorgeous Pisces, by the end of the week. The wise moment that you're gonna have, it's gonna bring you huge confirmation, but it's also gonna help you realize that sometimes things are not what they are, and the best way out of this situation is to keep going through, keep going forward, step forward by following your own inner light, by following your own vibration. You will get rewarded ultimately, and this is what this life is all about. The life is not meant to be easy. We are meant to live and learn. We are meant to have the certain like lessons in our lives, but then again, they are primarily responsible for our own spirit to grow. So that's why I'm saying that this is so important for you to get it right. So if there is something that doesn't make sense to you, my gorgeous Pisces, this week you are like, no baby, no. If something is like kind of like like kind of presented to you and it's required from you something, you know, if it doesn't make sense, then most certainly you should move away from it, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. You are gonna get rewarded for this, and later on within the next 4 weeks there is going to be a massive reward that you're gonna feel like a huge stone of your chest is just gonna fall off, literally, because it's to do with the worries and negativity and uncertainties. And then this is gonna, within the next 4 weeks, really gonna have a really wonderful outcome, because you will see, you will understand, and you will kind of become aware of the fact that you did the right thing. So that's why I need you to understand, you know, to kind of like when you have the certain opportunity, if it doesn't make sense to you, just remove yourself from that situation, okay? And it's something kind of like a false around it, about it. When it comes to like some kind of time span, there is a little bit of like a kind of like a maybe darkness connected to it when it comes to the essence of the information and genuinity. So this is all going to become kind of like obvious to you. I'm on purpose talking about it so much because it's important, because it's going to affect you in such a way where you're going to find yourself in a certain crossroads. And the only way out of this crossroads, my gorgeous Pisces, the only way out of this crossroads, my gorgeous Pisces, is by you realizing that sometimes things are not in this life what they are, and sometimes in that moment in time, the only light that you need to turn on and switch on is the one within yourself. So you follow things that only make sense to you. Okay, you only do what makes sense to you. You only follow things that make sense to you, my gorgeous Pisces. This is important, like so much indeed. On another hand, my gorgeous Pisces, you know what else I see? not related to this. It's just like you're also going to have a moment. This is not related to anything that I said so far, but this week you're also going to have the moment when you know you're gonna kind of like find yourself like thinking about like kind of like your life being very like slow, in very slow motion. There is something very specific in your life that caused you to actually feel like this, like it's in a very slow motion. So it's very important that at the same time, you know, the answer to this, and what you need to actually do here this week is just focus on your own practicality and on your own knowledge, because at around the midweek and specifically you're gonna be like, oh God, you know, like you're gonna feel very unsatisfied with a certain part of your life because it's been very slow, like a snail, like a big snail. It's moving slow, but you want that snail to hurry up a little bit. Let me tell you that at the same time, this is going to be such a powerful sign that you are going to have when you find yourself being unsatisfied with a certain part of your life, because it's going to make you feel like bored. You know, you're going to feel like kind of a little bit like, oh, it's boring type of thing. Then at the same time, you are going to need to pay attention to the actual sign, which is going to come to you either in the form of a little cat, either in the form of a bird, you know, or it's going to be like a numbers 333, 444, 111, or 777. Any combinations of these numbers that you will see most certainly after that moment in time when you feel really, really negative, whether this is going to be the cat, you know, or bird, like for example, or whether this is going to be like this combination of numbers that I said, you know, this is also going to confirm to you that you are on the right path. And it's also going to confirm to you that not very long after, your practical knowledge, it's going to come into play. Indeed, your practical knowledge is just going to come to the surface, and now there is something that you're going to feel very inspired by, but it's pretty much so to do with the actual practical knowledge, what you like do it, what you know how to do, but also the certain negotiation is going to need to take place. And this is just going to start a very important moment in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't see like an omens and signs in the form of animals and the numbers as well. They're just as important, just as powerful, and it means that you're going to be pointed out after that moment in time so quickly what exactly you need to do when it comes to your kind of things that you do, things that you focus on, things that you want to achieve in your life. You know, suddenly you will know exactly what you need to do. The very important element is going to become obvious, but then again, the certain negotiation is going to need to take place. This is only going to be the beginning of this, my gorgeous Pisces, and then I can tell you 7, 8, 9, 10, that October 2021 is going to be like absolutely mind-blowing when it comes to this, and you will see exactly what I was talking about, you know. This is coming from the moment in time when you're going to feel very powerful and very strongly self-illuminated, but at the same time, you know, very important hidden emotion is going to come to the surface that is going to be playing an important role when it comes to you realizing what exactly you are in self-denial about. So very specific part of yourself it's actually missing, and now most certainly it's going to become evident. And this moment in time is going to be remarkably important when it comes to the whole new perspective coming into your life. I really, really like it. Pay attention to the very important person in your life as well, somebody very significant who is about to tell you something, and they are also going to, by telling you that, they're going to give you an idea, and this is going to be a very vibrant moment as well, because you're going to recognize something very important element, very important part of yourself that you will yet again want to take on the next level. You will want to do it, you will want to experience it, and most certainly you should go for it. Okay, my gorgeous people, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. Okay, and I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye. Mwah.